friends, I am Madhura. Welcome to MadhurasRecipe.com. I get a lot of requests for cake and dessert recipes. So obviously people have sweet tooth and so do I. And the one thing that people ask for is eggless recipes. So this happens to be a great recipe. It's eggless, plus we are going to bake this in the pressure cooker and not in the oven. So you don't have any excuse for cooking this eggless cake. So let's take a look at ingredients. So for making base, that is chocolate cake, eggless chocolate cake, the things that we need are a cup of maida, that is all purpose flour, half cup of powdered sugar, half teaspoon each baking powder, baking soda, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of water, 3 tablespoon oil, any oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, refined oil, 3 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder, a teaspoon of coffee powder, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, just pinch of salt, and vanilla essence. For chocolate ganache, we need half cup of fresh cream. Here I am using fresh cream. You can use heavy whipping cream instead of fresh cream. And a cup of dark chocolate. I am using chocolate compound over here. For making chocolate frosting or chocolate icing, here I have got 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream is available nowadays at any local dairy wherein they sell milk and milk products like butter, cheese. So this is 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. We need 1/4 cup of icing sugar, that is powdered sugar, also known as confectioner's sugar, 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of coffee powder, some vanilla. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this bowl of heavy whipping cream into a freezer for at least half an hour before we go ahead and beat that. And also along with the bowl, here are these blender blade. I'm going to use hand blender for whipping the cream. So I'm also going to put these blades into a freezer. Now let's first start by making cake. Now since we are making this cake into a pressure cooker, let's do some preparation for baking this cake into a cooker. So first we need to remove this whistle along with this rubber ring that comes along with the lid of the pressure cooker. Now at the bottom of this pressure pan, we are going to add just a thin layer of salt. Now let's close this up, and I'm going to put this cooker over medium heat and allow it to preheat on medium heat for just about 10 minutes. Now our cooker is getting preheated. We need 6-inch of baking pan or baking tray that we need to grease very well using butter or oil. And also I have lined up this using some wax paper or butter paper. If you do not have this butter paper, use aluminum foil. It works perfect as well. So this is pretty simple eggless chocolate cake recipe. We need to first combine all dry ingredients. So first goes in all purpose flour into a bowl, then powdered sugar, cocoa powder, coffee powder, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. Now let's first combine all these dry ingredients together. Now here our dry ingredients are well combined. Now take another bowl and we are going to sieve all these dry ingredients through a strainer or sieve. This just ensures to get rid of any lumps from cocoa powder or baking powder, baking soda. Now in this goes in wet ingredients. So first add in water. So 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of water. Then goes in oil and vanilla. Now let's combine this. just we are going to fold and cut. Do not over mix this mixture, otherwise this cake might turn dense and not very spongy and soft and fluffy. So lightly just mix this in. And once this everything is well combined, finally add in lemon juice. So this lemon juice reacts with this baking soda and baking powder that we have added in our dry ingredients, which in turn helps to make this cake soft, moist and fluffy. So let's combine this really good. And once that's well combined, take this baking tin, pour in this chocolate cake mixture. Now just spread that evenly into a baking tin. And once you level that out, tap it really good for 10 to 15 times so that if there are any air bubbles, you can get rid of that. And also when this cake is baked, it gets baked nice and evenly. So tap it really good. Now that our cake batter is ready, also this cooker has been preheated over medium heat for 10 minutes. Now open the lid. Now at the bottom of this pressure cooker, I am going to place one empty tin. Over that goes in this cake tin. Close this up and bake this over medium heat for about 25 to 30 minutes. While our cake is getting ready, let's make some chocolate ganache for this cake. So start the heat over medium. To that add in fresh cream and just bring this to a boil. Now here this cream looks nice and hot. Now let's turn off the heat, and in this hot cream goes in our dark chocolate and mix that in until it turns out nice and smooth. Now over here this chocolate is well combined. Now if you want, you can also add in a teaspoon of butter while adding chocolate in this. This butter helps to give that nice glaze to this ganache, or you can even use oil. Let's remove this ganache into a bowl. And here this chocolate ganache is ready. Now our next step is to prepare chocolate frosting. So here I have kept this bowl of heavy whipping cream into a freezer for about 45 minutes now, along with these blender jar plates. So now we are going to whip this heavy whipping cream. So first whip this over low speed for just about a minute. And now let's increase the speed on high speed. Now this cream is whipped and it has got this nice stiff peak. So it took me around 8 to 10 minutes on high speed. Now we'll go ahead and add in rest of the ingredients. So next goes in cocoa powder, coffee powder, icing sugar and vanilla. Now let's first mix in this dry ingredients so don't fall all over the place. Let's combine all these dry ingredients with this cream first, and then we'll go ahead and beat this. Perfect. Now let's blend this. Perfect. And here our this chocolate coffee frosting is all ready. Superb. Now here I have baked this cake over medium heat for 30 minutes and allowed it to sit in the hot cooker for another 5 minutes. Now let's open this up. Yep. And here this cake is cooked really well. Now if you insert a toothpick, it comes out clean. Now let's take this out. It's really hot. and allow it to sit on room temperature for another 5 minutes. Now after about 10 minutes of cooling, take a knife and just start to loosen the sides of this cake. Now take any cooling rack or something like this and put it over the cake. Awesome. Now let's remove this piece of wax paper. Lovely. And look at this, how nice, spongy and soft this cake has turned. Let's flip this over and allow this to cool down completely. Now it's really important to let this cake cool all the way, not even a little bit warm, as we are going to frost this cake, and if we put frosting on a warm cake, it's gonna melt away. So I'm going to let this cool down for another 30 to 40 minutes. So here this cake has cooled down completely. Now we'll divide this into two portions. Now let's put this wax paper under the cake. This way, while we frost our cake, if any frosting falls onto plate, we will slide out this wax paper and our plate will remain nice and clean. Now let's brush this cake with some simple syrup. So here I have dissolved some sugar in some water. This will help to keep this cake nice and moist. Now next, let's take this chocolate and coffee frosting and frost this cake really well. Put really nice and thick layer of this icing and just spread this around nice and evenly. Once that's done, now next put another layer of this cake, face side down, and again brush some simple syrup. And now again we'll frost this, and now at this time we'll frost this cake from all the sides also. Now don't worry if you don't get even finishing, as we are going to top this cake with some chocolate balls and chocolate shavings, so it's absolutely alright if you don't get perfect finishing. Now once this frosting is done, I'm going to pop this cake into a freezer for at least 15 to 20 minutes before we put in ganache over it. Now here I have taken out this cake from the freezer after keeping that for about half an hour now. Now here I have this ganache. So I have again reheated this ganache in microwave for just about 30 seconds to make it nice and smooth and runny. So we'll place this ganache over this cake. And just spread this around. Now again I'm going to pop this cake in freezer for about an hour now. Here this cake has been set in freezer for about an hour now. Now here I have this startup nozzle, and I'm going to make small design like this using this nozzle. Not have nozzle like this, don't worry. You can use any Ziploc bag. Cut one corner of that bag and just make small swirls like this. Looks awesome. Now here I have some chocolate balls. Looks really awesome. Now I'm just going to add some more finishing touch by adding some silver balls in the middle of this cake. Here this chocolate coffee cake looks simply good. Now let's pull out this wax paper that's been placed while frosting this cake. And here our eggless choco coffee cake with this choco coffee frosting is all ready, and it looks super delicious. Looks simply good. You can see that when we slide out the wax paper, this dish or plate remains nice and clean. So this eggless choco coffee cake with choco coffee frosting looks superb. Do try this at home. If you try this cake at home, just take a picture and send that to us at MadhurasRecipe@gmail.com, or you can even share that on our Facebook page, that is Madhura's Recipe, or you can join with us on our Facebook group, that is Madhura's Recipe also. So this Facebook group of Madhura's Recipe is not just to share the recipes that I post on YouTube, but that is a very creative group. You can come on that platform. If you have your own interesting recipes, you can share those. You can also share the pictures that you have clicked of your recipes in this group. Also, if you are running any business or you have any startup, you can also post the ad of those startup on our Facebook group. So I hope you like this today's recipe. For more such nice, delicious and yummy recipes, visit our website, that is www.MadhurasRecipe.com. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.